You know, it would be helpful for me to actually route my audio source into the output. Alright, so... first time I've actually clicked go live in years. I also had to fight OBS because it decided to destroy half my sources 30 minutes ago. And I have a few sources made because, honestly, there's so much I could show that really this could go on for a while. But I have a 3-hour time slot. Let me just make sure that music isn't too loud. Yeah, I had to fight the sources for a bit. So, what am I doing? Actually, let's start with who am I. I'm Nary, also known as the, questionable username of Smelly Feet You Have. That's a story we could get into if anyone really cares, but whatever. Anyway, so what am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be going through kind of corruptions in general. There's a lot I could show, a lot I could talk about. I have a pretty rough outline of what I'm doing, but this is partially going to be based on what you guys want, because there is a lot of stuff I can show off. I'm going to show off the basics. I'm going to show off the Real-Time Corruptor, which is the program I work on with Cluzar, and a few other people have been helping contribute a bit. And that's the program with the funny sound effects. So that is going to be the intro. I'm going to show off kind of how this thing works, how we got here, and some of the features, kind of show you how to use it, show you how corruptions you see on Vinny streams are made. Then I have some stuff that can't make it onto Vinny's stream, usually for technical issues. So I want to tackle this today. I think 3 hours is going to be plenty of time. I'm going to show you guys some PC game corruptions. That's something that I can't normally bring to Vinny's stream because there's no way I can save them for him, because that's just not how computers work. The only way we could really do it would be like with a virtual machine, and do you want to wait 90 seconds for every single corruption to load? Not really, so those are going to be winged live, but I have a few... Oh, there goes the song. I have a few games that I've tested and I know work decently, so I'll give you guys a list of those once the time comes, and we can go from there. So, let me see. I think ready? OBS is not yelling at me about anything, so I think we are good to go. Alright. Come on. Cool, OBS unbound my hotkeys for changing the sources. Alright. That should be better. And... whoop. Alright, so to get this out of the way from the beginning, huge visual and audio epilepsy warning throughout this entire stream. I am going to be keeping this little thing on the stream at all times saying it, but huge warning. Volume warning as well, simply because I do have the volume limiter running. I'm actually looking into a better volume limiter I found that I may adapt, but these are raw corruptions, which means things can get messy. They can get loud, they can crash, they will crash, they can get flashy. I have the limiter on. I have the limiter on, but even with the limiter, sometimes things get loud, and because audio is weird, sometimes really loud noises sound much louder than they actually are. So, I'm just putting that warning out there. I'm going to keep this visual and audio epilepsy warning on the screen pretty much at all times, because you never know what is going to happen. Yeah, I can upload the VOD to my channel. I mean, he, him. I can upload it to my own channel. I mean, I haven't uploaded stuff in a while, but I can if you want that archived. So, there's a command in chat if you want to download the corruptor. It's !RTC. So I guess we could get started with the most basic of all. So let's just start with what the RTC is. And I am going to swap sources quickly. Where did OBS go? To the simplified source. Try and make this a bit more readable. So there's a lot on screen. Part of my goal here is to try and make it so you can tell what's going on without me having to constantly recapture sources. But just to give a quick overview of what all of these different things are. So you see the auto corrupt button here. So here you have intensity and error delay. Intensity is how many essentially corruptions to apply every single frame. Error delay only applies to auto corrupt. It basically makes it so instead of every 1 frame, it might be every 2 frames, etc., etc. And there are a lot of other settings that I will get to when the time matters. But at its core, the Real-Time Corruptor started is a very simple program. The goal behind it was... That is a bit loud. Let me pull that down a tiny bit. If the audio for anything's too loud, just let me know. This is the first time I've gone live in years, so I have to deal with all of the jank that I'm not used to dealing with. So, The Real-Time Corruptor started as a program that was kind of designed to emulate NES Remix. So our clues are started it back in like 2014, I think. And the goal was to make a program that you could make an NES Remix type game with. So he took BizHawk, he modified it, and instead of making NES Remix, he realized he ended up with a corruptor. So, I see the stream. Maybe try refreshing. So this is in the BizHawk emulator. I'm able to rewind because I have rewind on a hotkey. So, at the core of the Real-Time Corruptor, the name comes from the fact that you can corrupt in real time, as you're seeing right now. As the classic corruptor, the Vinesauce ROM corruptor, or if you go even earlier than that, corrupt, as the title says, it is a ROM corruptor. So, da-ding, where's the old folder? So the Vinesauce ROM corruptor is a program that people who've been around for a while might recognize. It is a program that was made years and years and years back, and what it did is, yes, that streamer name, what it does is it takes a ROM file and it just changes bytes around in it. So this was the Vinesauce ROM corruptor. Not many options here compared to what you see on the screen for the Real-Time Corruptor. So what this thing did is you could basically, I can actually demonstrate, so let's just find Super Mario World in this list of games. So what it did was you would give it a ROM file, and then you would just select the starting bytes. So in this case, I've selected Super Mario World. Come on. No? Am I not? Oh, that's the ROM. Wow, it's been so long since I've used this thing, I've actually forgotten how to use it. Okay. Maybe I'm not doing a quick demonstration of this because I am doing something wrong. Okay, there we go. Yep, now I remember what I'm doing wrong. So, the Mario World ROM, it's 7FFF bytes long, and what you would do is you just choose a start byte, you'd choose an end byte, and then maybe you would want to corrupt every 150 bytes and add one to every byte. So, there. So you click run, it would spit out a corrupted ROM file, and instead of launching right away with a save state and everything, you would bring the ROM into your emulator, your totally legitimate console. Cool. You see? You don't see that warning, but I got an error because I misnamed the file to .rom. So, it was a lot of jank, and it was a long process, and while you did get some fun results at times, let me hide that source, you got a lot of crashes. For example, well, the title screen played, but then nothing else happened. So you'd go back to the ROM corruptor, you'd change a few bytes around. I don't know, let's start at 3212 and do every 7/70th byte. Create the file, reload it from the disk. It was not a fun process. It was a slow process, but this is what we used to do back in the day. I didn't actively submit corruptions back when this was the way of doing them, but yeah, again, you can't. Oh, I didn't hide the source. This one crashes as well. So this was not a fun way of corrupting. There were a few other corruptors made back at the time. There was Vine Corrupt. So Vinesauce ROM Corruptor was made by Rikers. Vine Corrupt was made by Made Dog. I think they now go by a different username, but either way, those were some of the early corruptors. And then our Cluzer came out with the Real-Time Corruptor, and the big benefit of that was rather than just corrupting the ROM, you could corrupt everything. that was exposed by the emulator. So, on the left side of the screen, mouse cursor, you can see this thing where it says memory domains. RAM, WRAM, CHR, and some others. So, this is actually kind of a breakdown of the different components of the NES system and of the ROM itself. So the big advantage of the Real-Time Corruptor over previous corruptors was with the original corruptors, you had, in the case of NES, you had these two domains, PRG-ROM and CHR-VROM. That is all you could corrupt. With a Real-Time Corruptor, on the other hand, you could corrupt a hell of a lot more. You got access to everything while the system was running, because it originally was built into BizHawk. Now, as you guys probably know, it is a lot more than just BizHawk. Over the past 2 years... Wow, actually, I think... Yeah. 2 years, we've been moving past just BizHawk into other games and other consoles. That was a lot of work done by... My hotkey came unbound. That's why AutoCorrupt isn't running. AutoCorrupt and Emmanuel Blast. So, a lot of work went into that, but I'm going to start with the basics, because, honestly, there's a lot I could show you, and let's start where it probably makes the most sense. So, in essence, what the Corruptor does, just as a rundown, is it replaces bytes in the game's memory, the ROM file, pretty much anything that we can get access to with essentially garbage. Now, that is why Mario's sprite became flashing 8 9s and all this other stuff. With the Real-Time Corruptor, one of the fun features that I like to use, it doesn't make it on stream much, is AutoCorrupt. AutoCorrupt is basically just, again, it corrupts automatically. So right now, every single frame it was applying a blast. I have a lot of this stuff on hotkeys, so you can actually see when I click the hotkey in the top left, Start AutoCorrupt goes to Stop AutoCorrupt, and now it is back to Start AutoCorrupt. So if it says Stop, that means it's running. If it says Start, that means it is not running. Give me 1 second. Mic noises. My pop filter just fell. Fun. This is why Desert told me to buy a better pop filter. Alright, there we go. If the volume's off, blame me. So, AutoCorrupt is fun, but it is random. Because, well, at its core, it's just choosing stuff completely randomly to corrupt, and corrupting it from the selected memory domains. Hopefully we get re-encoding. I'm streaming at 1080-60. I forgot about that. Hopefully we get encoding options soon. Sorry about that if you can't watch the stream. I kind of bumped all the settings up because I knew there was going to be a lot of text that would be hard to read otherwise. I could drop it down if it becomes an issue and we don't get encoding settings, but hopefully we'll get encoding. So anyway... Yes, so you have all these options of things you can select and things you can corrupt, and the game crashed on me. Oh no, the game didn't crash, I left it paused. So in the end, that was kind of the first version of the Real-Time Corruptor. It was just real-time. If you go back and look at the early streams of Vinny using it, it was mostly him doing stuff using the real-time aspect of it. But real-time alone, you get some fun effects. I mean, the Goomba just became Bowser. Still a Goomba, but you get that as well. So what happened was, over time, we wanted a way to create corruptions, but also be able to save them. And that is where the ever-named stockpile system comes into play. Yes, Clown Vomit. And again, when you're doing random corruptions, especially with AutoCorrupt, you just get... You don't know what you're gonna get. You just get stuff. Sometimes you get some really fun stuff. Sometimes you get lots of Clown Vomit. Usually it's the latter. So that's... Damn it. That's where the stockpile system comes into play. So on the screen, you will see on the right side, you will see two boxes. One of them has a bunch of numbers in it, the other one's currently empty. So the Real-Time Corruptor has this fun tool named the Glitch Harvester. I'm going to swap back to the other layout just for a minute, just so you can see everything that's going on in a bit more clarity. So what the Glitch Harvester does is it's essentially a way for you to generate corruptions using a known starting point. That is the core idea behind it. The way the RTC works is rather than baking the corruption into the ROM file, what it does is it saves a history of all of what the corruptions are. So I'm going to pull up the blast editor here quickly just so you see what I'm talking about. So this thing on the bottom left is called the blast editor. This thing, all of these numbers, they look like absolute randomness, but these are all of the instructions. So when the save state loads, it pokes address 8... Oh, fun, a bug. What did I do? Uh-oh. This is what I get for using a dev build. You can't see the... Yeah, cool. Yes, this is what I get for using a dev build. I cannot actually use the blast editor because I was making some performance changes, and I screwed up. So I will swap over to this regular build in a minute. That'll complicate things a tiny bit, but that's what I get for using dev build. Anyway, all of these different instructions are what's going on. So, address 89C, poke it with value C3. Address 36, poke it with value 2A. And this all happens when the save state is loaded. So you can see on... Oh, I have the blast editor up. And I resize things out of habit, forgetting that it breaks my sources. So... Let's see. 1 second. So what that is essentially saying is, over here, I create the save state wherever I want, and then what I do is inside the glitch harvester, back to the other one so you see more detail, I choose an intensity, so currently I only have the RAM selected. Super Mario Bros. Has 2048 bytes of RAM. That means if I set the intensity too high, all I'm going to get is nothing. So if you're doing like an NES game, usually you start really, really low, because when you only have 248 bytes of RAM, 21 or maybe even 240 is going to be way too high. So you've probably actually seen a lot of these corruptions before, because that's kind of one of the limitations of classic game corruptions with this method of just replacing bytes. You have such a limited amount of memory, you kind of just keep running into the same effects. That's something we've been trying to tackle recently. So you just saw I actually changed the corruption engine. So all of these things are probably don't make sense to you. I will try and explain them, but it may or may not happen. Where's the correct... even have a list? I may have forgotten to get an NES list. Null, do you have an NES list? I saw you in chat. I have 6502 NOP, but don't have anything else. Yes, the program is WinForms. The source is on GitHub, github.com/RedScientistLabs, or just go to the RTC website and you can find it there. All of the code is on GitHub. Pretty much everything's MIT. So I cannot demonstrate this because I screwed up and forgot to get some lists. But do I have an any list? I downloaded like all of the lists and then forgot what I downloaded. Wildcard. Nope. I don't have the any lists installed. Okay. Oh, ARMB any. Okay, that might work. So the cluster engine is one of the newer engines. This was actually a contribution by Nullshock78 in chat. this list is not going to work. What it does... it's really hard for me to explain this without actually demonstrating it, so let me swap to N64 quick. Sorry, I screwed this up. Why don't you guys give me a suggestion of which game to go to, because you guys have used this a lot more than I have. It's you guys wrote it. I'm talking to our Cluzar and Nullshock78 in chat. Yeah, I have to download the lists, though, and I'm not sure where you guys have that. Are they on the drive? Damn it, why don't I have an any list? Here, I could show you the list generator tool, but that actually can't generate lists. I'm on the dev build. I'll swap to stable in a minute. So what I'm about to do is swap over to the stable build. So I didn't make a BRB screen, so you guys get to see nothing for a moment. So let me swap over to that. One second. So yes, this package manager they're talking about is recently we've been working to try and make more unique corruptions accessible, because the method of just blasting and replacing has kind of gotten old. So the goal here is to really come up with new ways to do the corruption. All right, there we go. That's all the lists, and memory visualizer installed. All right. So that should be all set. Let me pull this back up. I'm going to have to recapture the blast editor whenever I launch it, because this doesn't have the patch I made to make it slightly more streamable, but that's fine. Takes 5 seconds. So, come on, recapture your sources, OBS. Oh, my window size is different. That's always fun. Pull that down. There we go. All right, we are back to where we were. I have to get Mario open now. This is my fault for not preparing well enough, even though I've been preparing this for way long. That is not the correct Mario. I can use Mario World. It'll work with Mario World. So I'm just going to fast forward through the intro here. And let's go to Yoshi's Island 2. So what I'm going to do is pull the volume down, because that just got too loud, and reapply the limiter before I forget. I just realized a massive issue in the limiter that I need to fix. That's unrelated, though. Alright, so what this cluster engine does is... Alright, any system, any system, fix. That should work. Actually, I'll just use any 8. So what the any system does is... Sorry, not the any system. What the cluster engine does is it finds chunks in RAM and swaps them around. So you can see that it kind of... Please correct me if I'm wrong. They did all this stuff while I was over working on Vine Realms. I basically came back and the RTC was full of like 8 new features that I had never used. The cluster engine... Yeah, the cluster engine's kind of a chunking engine. It pulls chunks, so you can see cluster chunk size of 3, and it moves them forwards. So right now, the method is random. What I could do is I can make it rotate forwards, so it will essentially rotate chunks around. So I'm gonna take a nice big chunk, rotate it around on any... Ooh, that's some fun alphabetical sorting. So any 16. And I don't have any of my hotkeys bound in this version. Alright, so what the anything does is you can see, the cluster engine does, is it pretty much moves chunks around. You get some unique effects, to say the least, with this setup. It isn't like that normal... So it keeps chunking something into... So obviously that's not correct, but you can see how it took a bunch of chunks of blocks and placed them where they don't belong. So it's moving things around, and So as it's set to chunks of 18 and any 16, so it's 18 chunks of 16 bytes, or sorry, not 16 bytes, 2 bytes because it is 16-bit value. So you have 18 16-bit values basically being moved forwards by 4, or rotated forwards by 4 chunks. So you get these weird clusters. It's a pretty fun effect, and this hasn't actually really been out long enough for it to show up on stream. So a lot of the corruptions you guys see on Vinny's streams were usually made months ago, because people are generally submitting corruptions all the time. There are 2 ways to do that, just so I can inform you. The ways to do that are either just emailing them to him and he will forward them over to me, or we have a place in the Real-Time Corruptor Discord where you can submit corruptions. When I have a chance, I will give you feedback if you want feedback, and then I'll just take them and pass them over. So, not the correct hotkey. Just rebinding all of my hotkeys quickly, because I lost all. Alright, there we go. So, yeah, the text edits. Yeah, lame text replacement. So, we've actually had a discussion about that. And my hotkey's still wrong. We've had a discussion about that, so that probably won't be happening as much. And when it does happen, it'll be more carefully done, because a lot of those Bellissimo ones, I know, I saw some spiciness in chat during those where people were a bit annoyed. Those were done like a year ago before it was kind of overdone, but I can actually show you how those are done. Now, we've had a lot of debates about that kind of stuff, because honestly, one of my most favorite corruptions is Vinny's classic Super Mario Bros. 2 corruption, where he just kept poking at it until it went from extra life to extra wife. So, in some ways, the text edits are an evolution of that, but we all agree that it's kind of gotten a bit extreme. So, we're actually pulling that back, but I can actually show you exactly how those kinds of corruptions are done. So I actually do have some stuff prepped. Let me pull it up. So, pull this up. That will better demonstrate some of those effects. So, if you remember the Final Fantasy IX corruptions from a while back, there was a very specific corruption where Vivi was essentially a radio tuner. You would walk around and then the music would change. So this is a corruption by Mugi that I'm loading up. Let me... Final Fantasy IX. So what this corruption did is it kind of shows some of the more in-depth features of the RTC. So what I'm going to start with is kind of demonstrating this and tearing it apart, just so you see how this blast editor works. And then I'm going to build something up, and I can build up a text editing corruption if that's what you guys want. Things are going crazy in the background. Sony PlayStation and Final Fantasy IX Disc 1. Alright. Assuming Alright, yeah, so here we go. So you may remember this one from a few months back. May have been longer than a few months, but all time is relative at the moment. So, turn the volume up a tiny bit. Whoop. Did I load up the wrong disc? Was this supposed to be disc 2? No, this is supposed to be disc 1. So I walk around and I did something wrong. This is clearly not supposed to be disc 1, or... Either way, I can demonstrate it in this room. Yeah, let's just stay on the screen. So I'm going to open this in the blast editor. I'm going to have to recapture the blast editor because... Let me get that back up. Mainly because this version has the name of the corruption in the blast editor's title, so OBS doesn't know how to find it. I edited that out, but then, well, I broke things. So this corruption... Let's turn that music Oh, that's the volume limiter kicking in, actually turning things back up on me. Alright. No, bad. Alright, so you can see here, there is... I'm actually going to make this source a bit bigger temporarily. Blast editor, which one? Come on, OBS, show me which one. If I unlocked you, it would help. So, what this corruption is this was a corruption that Mugi found through a few different... Well, actually, a lot of different corruptions. One of the big things we do nowadays is we find a lot of different corruptions and then merge them into one big corruption. Sometimes that goes a bit far, like with some of those Bellissimo, it was like essentially a giant ROM hack at that point, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it is kind of outside the spirit. But here you can see a lot of individual items in this list, and every single one has a note on it. So I am going to go and pop up this note box by clicking on it, and then add a capture for it, because I forgot to. So this note, you can't read that, that's tiny text. So what this note says is all instruments hooked up to movement. So that is for this third item on the list. I forgot to match window title exactly. Come on, OBS. Window title must match, go away. So this corruption, this blast specifically, what it does is these values are probably a bit confusing. So I'm going to try and explain what everything means here. So you have a lot of things here, but what really matters is that it says store, main RAM, continuous main RAM. So what this is doing is every single frame, because it has a lifetime of 0, so it runs forever. What it is doing is every single frame, it is copying the value from this address, 9CE4C, and it is basically pasting it into 7AE4C every single frame, but that is only if it matches a value on this limiter list. So what a limiter list is it is essentially just a list of values that you match against. So this list specifically, I can actually pull up the values in it, but it's essentially a filter. So what you want is, yes, you could consider this just a hack. This is a very carefully constructed hack made by fuzzing a bunch of different corruptions until you found fun things you could mix together. Usually a lot of these actually start out as the corruption, and then we just go and enhance it by maybe piping a better value in. So I don't know how exactly Mugi found this, but my guess is the corruption of movement into music happened naturally, and then she went back and tweaked it and improved it. So that's one of the big things we try and do to get things stabler, is we just go back and kind of clean things up. So a lot of the times you'll find a fun, cool corruption, but it will crash when you walk off screen. So we go in and try and figure out why it crashes when you walk off screen and kind of filter it down. This is essentially a very complicated if-else or an overcomplicated if-else statement, yes. It checks if the value at, because it's comparing the source address, it essentially checks every frame if the value at 9CE4C is 93, is on this list, and if it is, it pastes the value from there into 7AE4C. So yeah, it is just kind of a glorified hard-coded if-else statement. We're working on making it more programmable, because a lot of the idea behind this tool has evolved from just making corruptions into kind of being a real-time game patching tool. Yeah, the 93 is ignored. That was a mistake. A game patching tool, and I kind of want to move towards that, but that's a story for a different time. Either way, if I just take all of these and shut them off, cool, I selected the wrong thing. If I just shut these all off, and then I load that same corruption, you'll notice now when I walk around, it's the same. It's back to what you would expect. But if I start kind of slowly turning these back on, the effect should start to... Come on. Why are you blasting the volume? This is what I get for not using my own programs and remembering how they work. Alright, that should be a bit better. So now once I start walking around, some of the effects start to show up. You can hear some of the instruments are being piped in, but not all of them. And that's because every single one of these blasts on the list are important to the effect. There is a bunch of things involved in movement, for example. The walk animation, the camera position, your character's position. So what these are doing is they're hooking up different parts of movement into that output, and they're basically kind of trying to find fun values to pipe in. So that's kind of how this was built. So you can hear that the music just kind of... Nope, that was the limiter kicking in because, again, I don't know how to use my own programs. This is a very carefully constructed and carefully crafted corruption. So, I can build one of those up in a more simple manner. So, does anyone have either NES or SNES game that they would like seen from the list of common games? I don't want to go into something obscure that I've never touched before. Just gonna go off the first one I see in chat. Castlevania it is. That's a lot of lists. Actually, Castlevania might be a bit... I'll do Castlevania. Castlevania should be easy. So... You're gonna get a lot of that NES ding as I pull things. NES ding. Windows ding. That is not the correct Castlevania. That is... that... What even is this? That's That's not Castlevania we're looking for. This is the Castlevania we're looking for. So I'm just going to start by making a save state on the title screen. And where I'm going to start is just by absolutely destroying the RAM on the title screen using the Nightmare engine. So the Nightmare engine is the most basic corruption engine. All it does is it randomly replaces bytes. So I'm gonna... Oh, hey, look, we remade a classic, Castlevania. But what I'm going to do is I am going to keep just poking at this title screen. Come on. Until I see what I'm looking for. So, right now I'm targeting the RAM. What I'm looking for is actually probably in the CHR. I'm looking for that text at the bottom that says push start key. So I'm just going to keep poking at it until it is modified. Okay, so the A is no longer an A. I have a P in the middle of nowhere. Let's see if I can get a better one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep... If you want to build one up from scratch, this is how you would do it. So there we go, M and C. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this open in the blast editor. Going to recapture the blast editor. Shrink these back down because what we don't actually care about the blast editor in this way right now. What we care about is the sanitization tool. So we used to do this manually. Recently we added a tool to somewhat automate this process. So I'm going to click the button that you can't actually currently see because it's off screen that says sanitize tool. And what this did is it popped up this new fun little window. So what this thing does is essentially it breaks down as you can see, as you cannot see, because right here, size 616. So I blasted it with 616 intensity, and one of those 616 blasts is the one I want. So what I can do here is I can click Start Sanitizing, and what it just did is it played back the original layer. So is the effect you were looking for... Maybe this title screen wasn't the best. It would also help if I selected the correct corruption, Sanitize. Alright, so if I click Start Sanitizing, so that corrupted M is still there. So the effect I'm looking for is still present, so I'm going to click Yes. That T is gone and the M is back, so the effect is no longer there, so I'm going to click No. And what it's doing is it's essentially having the corruption every single time until you get to where you want. So the effect was there, so I'm going to click Yes. The effect is gone. No, the effect is there, click Yes. every time it's having it. Yes, 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 no, and we are down to 1 unit. So now I can send this to keep changes, and what it will do is if when forms cooperates, now you can see in the blast editor that there is only a single item left in the list. So this item is the one that causes that effect to happen, that broken M. So C8 CI RAM at address 0x289 with the value of 65. So if I change this value to like 68, I get a different icon. So the CI is basically, so it's the name tables, it's all the sprites. I don't want to try and get too in-depth into explaining how the consoles work, but it's essentially all the tiles in some way, so you can see that little M. So I'm just going to keep scrolling until I get the value that... All right, 7M. So let's write a little message. So essentially, I am looking through the font right here until I find all of the letters and the ones I am looking for. And what I can do is, essentially, now that I know where one of the values is, I can duplicate this, and my guess is the other values are right next to it. So if I just take this, so 289 is the T, 28A is the next character, so on and so on. So I basically now have figured out where in memory this text is located. And what I can do is I can start replacing it. So if you want to write a message, which people have done, usually you can go through ROM hacking resources to figure out what a lot of these values mean, because other people have found a lot of this stuff in the past. But you can generally map out what character corresponds to what value and then just essentially write yourself a little text file. And if you want to write up a whole message or modify to a specific letter, you then have it. So at this point, I kind of demonstrated how this works. So yes, we don't have a straight up memory viewer in that sense, but there is a hex editor. But you actually cannot always just search for strings because, especially in this case, this isn't saved as a string. This is saved as a bunch of sprites in the CI RAM. So I can pull up the hex editor, or it's referring to a specific sprite. Again, I'm trying to keep this somewhat accessible, but it is a complicated topic. So yeah, you can see the hex editor here. So if I go to where I was, I can actually just open this address straight in the hex editor and see all the text here. So if that means that if every character, come on, I'm going to pause emulation for a second. So that means T is F8, M is F1. So LMNOPQRST. So that is where our alphabet is. So I could make it say whatever I want using this information. There is no direct translation. We don't have... hello, Mr. Dog. Do you want to from? Alright, so there's no direct translation layer here, so we don't have a system in place where you can essentially map all the characters and modify things. But he wanted to leave. I'm not the one, I didn't kick him out. There's no direct translation layer built in, but you could make one if you wanted to, because we are working on a plugin system. That dog was Jensen. I am currently not in my apartment, so there are currently 5 dogs, and if a parent gets home, they will all go crazy, so I may need to mute for that. Fine, I will... dog ran downstairs, but I can pull up a picture of dog. Yes, 5 dog. It's a lot. Maybe I can't... Okay, I can pull up picture of dog. Here's the one that barked. Where did OBS go? Here's the one that barked. Dog is gone. How did I get a second? Oh, that's how I got a second. Cool. So really, that's kind of how, if you want to build something up, you can do it. But again, we try and keep building things up from scratch relatively limited because it does lose some of its charm when you do that. Okay? If you overdo that, you just lose some of the charm. So what I can show you is the sanitization in a more genuine setting, if you want to use genuine as a term. So I'm going to swap to go N64 quickly because I can show off a few things at once. Does anyone have a specific N64 game that is not Mario 64? I just showed Dog. DK64 is way too crashy. Majora's Mask we've done 50 billion times. Pilot Wings doesn't run in BizHawk properly. You know, most of these games don't run in BizHawk properly. But that is one of the limitations. We can expand emulator support, but with N64, we're limited to a very old version of Mupen 64 Plus, because that's what BizHawk implements. I'm just gonna play Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Let's go with something that I know at least works. So let us go with this one. Probably unpause it. Okay, maybe this one doesn't work. I'm gonna turn that graphic setting up a bit. Yes, I remember well when I crashed Vinny's computer with that corruption. No joke, that corruption worked perfectly for me the week before I submitted it. I sent it to him, it crashed his computer live. The corruption was different and his computer crashed. I went and tested the corruption, the computer crashed. I updated my GPU driver, it no longer crashed. So there was one specific NVIDIA driver version that caused that corruption to blue screen Windows. Yeah. So let's just, maybe GoldenEye is not the best to use with, because I am currently using a keyboard. You know what, I said no Mario 64, but Mario 64 is the easiest to demonstrate this on, so I'm going to go back on my word. I'm a liar.
Hey, Mario!
Alright, so let's just... So, I'm gonna build up corruption here. So I'm gonna make a save state right at Lakitu, and then let's wait for this to go on. Come on. Wow, it's Mario 3D Collection. Alright, so I'm gonna swap engines to the Vector engine. What this engine does is it essentially is designed to target, if you're a programmer, you know what this will mean. If you're not, you won't. It's designed to target floats, specifically standardized floats. If you're not a programmer, what that essentially means is it targets the kind of numbers that are commonly used in 3D games. When you do math on a computer, there are a few different ways of doing math. One of them... Yes, Mario, you are tired. There are a few different ways of doing it. One way of storing a number is in a float, which is pretty commonly used for 3D games. So, the original version of the Vector engine was essentially just, we created a list of common floats, like the value of 1, 1.0, 2.0, square root of 2. Things you would expect to see a game use. So, how this engine works is, you just saw, I just absolutely cranked the intensity. I'm going to swap to this other view. I just cranked the intensity. The reason for that is because, again, these lists essentially work as a pattern match. So if the value is not on the list when it checks that address, it's not going to corrupt it. So that way, we essentially brute force ourselves. Whoop. There it is. This is what you get for doing N64 Live. You brute force your way to a float. It's a very brute force method. It works better than I think it has any right to, But what I can do here is I can blast a few times until I get an effect. I actually turn that resolution back up and click the button I always tell Vinny to click and then forget to click myself. Turn the resolution up. Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm just going to corrupt a few times until I'm going with the standard classic list simply because it's easier to demonstrate. We have a lot of new stuff around, but again, this is why Vinny doesn't do corruptions live. It seems like they're much more stable than they used to be, and they are, but they are nowhere near as stable as the streams would lead you to think. Did we get a double? No, we didn't get a double. Okay, config, 1 second. This may be 100% my own fault. This was 100% my own fault. Okay. BizHawk is weird. It uses both DirectX and OpenGL at the same time, which is a big no-no, and OBS gets upset when you game capture when you're using that. So yes, our clues are figured out exactly what I screwed up. So can you not stop crashes by saving the state pre-corrupt? So the reason it crashes, it's not just because the game crashed. Depending on the emulator, so with some emulators, with BizHawk specifically, BizHawk is a multi-system emulator. It works similar to RetroArch in that it has a bunch of emulation cores. Some of the emulation cores are written in C#. This is a bit more technical. If it crashes, it won't bring all of BizHawk down with it, because BizHawk is able to catch the exception, and I'm gonna corrupt until I get something I like here. BizHawk's able to catch the exception and prevent the program from crashing. Some of the cores, such as Mupen64+, are native cores, which means if an error happens internally, BizHawk probably can't catch it, and as a result, the entire emulator crashes. So, N64 is actually probably still one of the most unstable. Yeah, BizHawk's written in C#, which is... Alright, come on. Can I get any decent effect? Maybe I'd be better off... Actually, I like that audio one, so... certain sounds right now are not correct. So I have this stash here. What I'm going to do is, I have it saved. I'm going to send it to the stockpile and name it Squeak. So now I basically have it saved in a list of corruptions that I can then go back to. I can open it in the blast editor, I can do whatever. So now I'm going to... Okay, well, that was easy. So now I have 2 corruptions. I'm not even going to name that one. So I have 2 separate corruptions, Big Mario and Squeak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both corruptions in the stockpile manager, and what it's going to do is it's going to merge them into one big corruption. So now suddenly I have a giant Mario that's Squeak. But, you know, giant Mario and squeaking doesn't make the most sense. So let's open this one in the blast editor quick. Actually, let's sanitize it and be a bit faster. So I'm going to open the sanitization tool and swap back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the Big Mario effect. So it's still there. Still there. Gone. And right now I am breaking down the effect so I find which specific thing resulted in Big Mario. So... Alright, I have Big Mario, so I'm going to send it to the stockpile as Big Mario, and now what I can do is I can open Big Mario up in the blast editor again, and capture that, and what I can do now is, so the value for out of habit I resized Windows, so the value to make Mario big, it replaced it with a float 403F, I think that is 8. I should probably have my float calculator up. So, what... yeah, I can make this VOD available on YouTube. I can... So, if I put this value into calculator quickly... 0x... Nope. Come on. this is the wrong calculator. This one doesn't deal with endiness. 3F40 is... You know what? I'm just going to pull up a float calculator and plug in a number. So what I want to do here is I have a squeaky sound effect and I have an effect that changes Mario's size. So what I can do is I have a calculator open that you can't see. So maybe let's make something that makes more sense. So let us convert this number into hexadecimal. No, I don't want a double, I want a single. See? Alright, so here's my new value. I'm going to change this from what it currently is to CDCCCC3D. Where did I get that value? I used a calculator. But now if I load this corruption, now Mario's tiny. So, now I can save this modified version of the corruption, and now if I send it to the stockpile as Small Mario, and then merge Small Mario and Squeak, suddenly it is a much better corruption. So basically what I just did there is, you could say it is to an extent so Small Squeak. You could say it is kind of ROM hacking to an extent. You're finding stuff and then you're tweaking it to be better, and that's really what we like to do, is rather than building stuff up from scratch or coming up with an idea and making it like you would with a ROM hack, we find effects and then think about how we could take these effects and make them more interesting to look at, more amusing, better to see on stream. So it might be more stable. The goal might be making it more stable. The goal might be modifying it a bit to fit things better. Because, I mean, Big Mario and the Squeak is a good gag, but Tiny Mario that sounds like a mouse is even better. So, you notice only some of the sound effects are screwed up. So if I were to go further with this, I could probably try and isolate why only some of them are, figure out the other stuff. But instead of doing that, I am going to move on. It's not lifetime 0 because it only applies to certain sound effects. So yeah, I can also show off that. So the Squeak corruption had stretchy pants, which isn't really great. So if I pull back the Small Squeak one, which is the merged effect of the two, I can then do the inverse. So with sanitizing, you can both try and locate a specific effect because you want it, or you can do the inverse. So I don't want the big pants here, so I'm going to locate the big pant corruption. So now it's gone. Still gone. Alright, so I've located the big pant corruption. I don't want this, so I'm going to click subtract from original. What that does is it basically makes me a new version that doesn't have the big pant. So, Small Mario Squeaky, no big pant. So now if I load this corruption, you only get half the big pant, because there were clearly two different things resulting in big pant. And that's the fun thing. Sometimes you have more than one thing that results in an effect. You could see how before, actually, there was big pant, something on the left was stretching, well now something on the right is stretching. I could keep breaking it down to get rid of it, but I think it's not worth it, and we should just move on. So, what was next on my agenda? Let me pull that up. So, one of the more recent, I say more recent, technically we've been doing this for like nearly a year now, but really it's gotten a lot more popular recently, is you cannot see me when I'm in the drop-down menu, but I don't know. Guess I'm switching. I will swap. Actually, I'll just stay here. So I'm going to select two lists. MIPS all branches. And then my other thing is going to be MIPS all branches. So this is more on the technical side. So what this is doing is essentially we have created lists that attempt to match instruction sets of the various consoles. So in this case, it's the N64, so it uses MIPS. What this is doing is essentially it is attempting to find a branch instruction, and it replaces it with a different branch instruction. So replacing a branch with a NOP, if you know what that means, is, yeah, I know NOP is going to be better. I don't have a MIPS NOP. Here, let me just look it up and make one quickly. MIPS NOP is... What is the MIPS NOP instruction? Is it just 0? Okay, I can just use 0 then. I should use true 0, not 0. So I'm going to create a list here, actually. True 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I have a new list, and I have branches to 0. So what this is going to do is it's going to attempt to find places. It's not smart. This is a dumb way. The code is inherently dumb, but what it's trying to do is it's trying to basically heuristically find things that look like a branch inside of the code. So a branch is, for example, an if-else statement. The way that works is if value equals A, jump to this part of the code, else jump to this part of the code. And those are all compiled down on the machine to very specific instructions. So what this list does is, yeah, I'm trying to keep it simple, Chris. So what this is doing is it's essentially brute forcing at the RAM, looking to try and find if-else statements and then modifying them. So here it is replacing them with nothing. So I am not getting good results. Alright, there we go. So you can hear that camera noise. I am not touching the camera. So something in the code just got overridden that is making it adjust the camera for me. And, oh. Lack 2. And it crashed. So there are a lot of different, oh boy. I'm gonna save this one. Give me a minute. Or later. Let's save this one. So, in the end, it's just a different way of corrupting things, and that's a lot of what we are... I'm not inputting anything right now. Well, I'm not inputting jumps, I should say. If you want... Yeah. So really what it's come down to is what we've been trying to do more recently is come up with unique ways to expand upon how we corrupt, because there is only so much you can get out of using the same methods over and over and over again. So what we are doing is we are working towards more advanced methods, alternate methods, trying to find stuff that works. I cannot use the memory. Or can I? So it is 3:10. All right. So look. So I can show off some of the other stuff before I move on. So let's say, come on, where did I save it? I had this whole list of stuff built up, and then I misplaced it because I'm a tire. Yes, you are a tire, Mario. Where did I? Oh, right, that's why they're missing. They're in the other folder because I swapped versions. Sorry about that. They are... Go. They're gone! All right, 1 second. Re-download them. Actually, better idea. I have different ones I can use. So, as I said before, Zelda Ocarina of Time. So I'm going to pull up Ocarina of Time, but I'm going to pull up a specific version of 1.0, and I need pressed. So the next thing I'm going to show off is what we call virtual memory domains. And what they are is, as I said before, you have these memory domains on the side. Pop views again. So we have the RD-RAM, the ROM. This is all the stuff that the emulator directly exposes to us. But there's a lot more stuff hiding within that we might want to mess with. So this goes back to targeting specific stuff. Certain games have been ROM hacked to death. Some people are, like Moogie, are crazy and instead just put mountains of work into doing this themselves. Corruption, resources, BMDs, N64, Ocarina of Time, Where are they? Where'd they go? Did I move them? Oh no, they're legacy. I forgot about that. Okay. I can fix it. Let me just open this up in Notepad quickly, and I have the range. And I will remake this. Forgot we got rid of legacy support. This is what I get for adding new features. So I'm going to create swap back, and in this tool right here, the simple VMD gen, I'm going to load the domains, and I'm going to select the ROM file, and then I'm going to, that is decimal, so I need to pull up a calculator. Calculate off screen. So I'm going to make a virtual memory domain from 92D000 and make range. Come on. I need to convert that to text, or else this is going to go terribly. All right. Nope, this is not how this tool works. I should know how my own program works. All right, so what this is essentially, now I have a virtual domain inside the ROM. What that means is it's essentially just, I can actually show you in the hex editor. No, I can't. It's essentially a chunk of the ROM, but a small isolated version of it. So I've created my own mini memory domain. No, 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 no. Bad. Nobody saw that. I'm going to create my own memory domain. So what this is a section of the ROM. Yes, wrong letter. A section of the ROM isolated. Now, I put in very specific range. The reason for that is because if I create a save state on the menu before I actually load into the game, so right here, I'm going to create a save state. So now, if I just crank the intensity, and I'm actually going to switch to the Nightmare engine for a minute. The reason for this will soon become obvious. So I'm going to hit corrupt, and assuming it loads, yep, it loads, I'm going to load that file. So, obviously something's wrong here. What this VMD is it's all of the text in the game. I essentially have, I know in the ROM, so this one was built using ROM hacking resources. I know where in the ROM all the text lies. So what I can do is I can actually create a virtual memory domain that points directly at the text and corrupt that directly. Going back to the Vinesauce ROM corruptor for a minute, that's kind of how the original Vinesauce ROM corruptor worked, in that you would select a range, and then you would just probe at it. And then you try and find a fun range that worked. And that's really what you can do with virtual memory domains. If you are looking for something specific in the game because you're trying to, say, corrupt animations specifically, you might be able to figure out where the animations are. If you're trying to corrupt text, you might be able to find where the text is, and that's a good one. And then you can work from there and really keep corrupting. So that's virtual memory domains in a nutshell. It's just a way to target sections of another memory domain. So you can use that to, say, target text if you know where the text is. If you are poking at like a game that is stored in ISO format, like a PlayStation 1 game or a PlayStation 2 game, you can actually poke at files within the ISO, because if you go through the effort of locating the offsets and doing all that stuff. So again, you can go from very, very simple with this thing and still get great results. Some of the best corruptions I've ever seen are the ones that were just pure luck, pressing the button until something great happened. And sometimes you can go very complicated and just hone in on what you want. So like right here, I have this tool loaded, this active table generator. What this does, this is a tool we are going to expand upon, but what this does is I'm going to initialize it with the RAM. So every time I click add state, it is going to take a dump of the memory, and yeah, sometimes you get very complicated and Donkey Kong gets a stand. So every time I click add state, it's going to take a dump of the memory, and at the end, so I'm just going to click it a few times. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn the activity threshold up. So what this means is any address that changed in more than 50% of my dumps, it's going to output a VMD, a virtual memory domain, with just those values. Okay, active table size 0. That means I didn't get anything good, so maybe I need more dumps. There we go. 455066. Alright, so now I have this domain of stuff that changed during that cutscene. So now, oh right, this is where my save state is. Whoops. Great. Now I have to jump forwards through the cutscene again. Come on. Okay. So what that does is now I have a memory domain of just things that were changing during that cutscene. So right here, I'm going to swap to the freeze engine. This is probably going to crash. I just absolutely cranked the settings. But what this is going to do is, yeah, that's going to crash. All right. See, maybe I could show this off. I could probably show this off better using a simpler game, because again, certain consoles are just harder than others. N64 is actually harder than GameCube in my opinion. So I am going to actually swap back to a simpler game for the sake of demonstration. Let's go with Game Boy this time around. Yeah, the N64 is a weird console. It's also just the emulation is a lot more unstable, and there's a lot going on. So I'm going to do slightly more complicated than Mario Land. I am going to go with a classic. That is not the classic I was about to click. Let's go. Alright. So I'm going to unload those VMDs I made because they are not valid at the moment because, well, I'm not on N64 anymore, so they point to non-existent domains. Let's just mash through this a tiny bit. I'm not going to make the same mistake. Alright. So, I'm gonna walk outside. Come on. Maybe I should have chosen a game with a slightly shorter intro. Alright, so I'm gonna walk outside. So, again, what this thing does, I'm gonna go back to the active table generator, and I'm gonna start it up again. So right now, every time I Actually, let's do every 4 seconds. Every 4 seconds, it's going to take a... Probably reset it. Alright, there we go. Every 4 seconds, it's going to take a dump of the main RAM and save it. And then once I tell it to stop, I can do fun stuff with that. So here I'm just walking around in circles. So you can think about what might be changing inside the game. My position's moving around, the camera's moving around, the sprites that are on screen are moving around, the NPCs, the music. So I think that's enough. So now if I stop, what I can do is, let's start with a threshold of 0. So this means anything that changed during that changed at least once. So of those 8,000, sorry, that's hex. My math is off. There are 1,000 values here that changed during that. So what I have currently selected is, yeah, some things may have loaded and unloaded. So what I have currently selected is the freeze engine. What this thing does is it essentially copies the value when the save state is loaded, and it will then just keep applying it every single frame. So it freezes whatever value in place. So freeze works very well with active tables because you are essentially freezing a known valid value that you know was changing around. So what you can do with this is get some pretty weird effects if it doesn't crash. But again, this is... Excuse me. Corruptions are unstable when it comes down to it. There's a lot of manual work you can put into things to make them more stable. But, again, sometimes just blasting at it works best. I'm just gonna hit the button a few times. See if there's anything that sticks out. Nope. No? You're gonna keep going? Alright. Well, the active table generator it's a fun idea. It's something we're working on. And the idea, again, is you can find stuff that changed. It works very well to find music, actually, because every single time a note changes, the music is gonna change a bit. So if I just hit this button a few times, let's swap just Nightmare quickly and turn it up to like 500. So you can actually see all the stuff. It corrupted a lot of the tiles because the spots that were changing around in memory were the tiles, and the music as well. So I've essentially isolated all that stuff that was changing. And another good way to use that is if I load up the state again. So if I stand perfectly still and don't give the game any input, and then just absolutely slam the button so there's lots of memory dumps, pretty much, deliberately counterproductive action replay is a pretty good way to describe this. And then turn the intensity up a bit. So I just got an active table size of 14. That means the value changed in at least 80% of my dumps, but also wasn't changing every single frame. So, let's see what those values were. 18, and hit corrupt. Interesting. So, whatever values they are preventing me... That was... Oh. I'm a dummy. Whatever values they are probably too important to the game because I try and move the camera and it crashes. So, but my intensity is pretty high, so, or my activity threshold, so if I pull it down a bit, I get 74. I have a very strong feeling if I click this, I'm gonna get music. Yep, you notice one of the instruments is just completely missing because it's stuck on its first value, so what I might want to do instead is if I want to get some weird music stuff, I could swap to the pipe engine. And now I've basically generated myself a pretty easy way to get music corruptions by isolating things that change around, in this case, the music. Turn the volume up a little bit. And yes, he is gone and the game still crashes if I walk around, but I can sanitize that out. So that's really the nice part about something like this. A lot of the tools in the RTC are made to assist you in kind of cleaning up your corruptions and just making doing things you want easier. It's not a magic bullet. Finding good corruptions is usually a lot of luck and effort combined. Well, you can go in with absolutely no effort and just keep clicking the button and then it's pure luck, but you can also put in the effort and it takes a bit less luck. So, yeah. 3:30, alright, we've hit the halfway mark. Let me get some water quickly. Corrupting a game just enough to keep it playable is something that is definitely an interesting thing. I will save this for chip. I'll show that in a bit. So, actually, yeah, that's a good one. So, I am good. How are you? Let's see. Sorry, I only have water. So, gameplay, again. Yeah, a lot of it really is throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks, but the idea, a lot of the goal of the RTC is to make throwing crap at the wall, and it's more like throwing crap at the wall and scraping off the crust? I don't know. Trying to come up with a better app. Yeah, how about that? Okay. That analogy because someone said it in chat. I did not. Yeah, Hydrobot's been dead for years. So yeah, I'm not really getting anything else out of this because I do have the music, but it's also clear that if I move around, something's wrong. And I could sanitize out that movement crash by just pulling up the sanitization tool. And there's... Oh, nope. So... This is most likely multiple... Yeah, this is multiple things mixed up, combined, that's resulting in the crash. Oh, that's a fun error. Okay. Anyway, so for part of this stream, my goal was to... Yes, it is only for Game Boy Color. My goal, I am going to start now just because I have no idea how long this is going to take, was to show off some of the stuff that isn't as commonly seen. Well, isn't really seen at all. So I am going to close this quickly and start up a straw poll because I have a few games that I've tested this out on, and I don't really care. Come on. So I'm going to show off the process corruptor. So what process stub is essentially it's a little tool that treats a Windows process similar to a memory domain. It essentially acts as an intermediary, and it hooks up all of the... I'm trying to explain this in a non-technical way. It hooks up all of the RAM that the game is using as individual memory domains. And that allows you to corrupt PC games. So I'm going to just start with these three because I have tested all three of these and they boot fairly quickly and I know all three work. So let me go with this first. I know for a fact all three of these work. So the thing about PC corruptions, and the reason why you haven't seen them on Vinny's stream, is because of how PCs work. Alright, one game is destroying the others, so I'm not even going to wait. I'm just going to go over to it. Games. Oh, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common. Half-Life 2, alright. Create a no-vid shortcut. Alright. Does anyone have any specific maps? Just name any map, but the actual map name, not the map's physical name, the like D2 whatever. Just give me anything. Yes, Fortnite would trigger anti-cheat. Those are not Half-Life 2 maps. I'll just find the Ravenhole map name. D1 Town 01. Okay. Novid plus map. So what I am doing here is I am currently setting up things very quickly just to make this a bit smoother. And you will see stuff in a moment. Come on. I just launched this in full screen. Oh no. I will be right back. The game is about to change my resolution to 640 by 480. That's source for you. Alright. Play mode windowed. Come on. Alright. There we go. Swap to the 16:9 layout. Add. Game capture. Half-Life 2. Come on. That is loud. Cool. Game capture doesn't want to capture Half-Life 2. I guess I'm using window capture. Alright. So let's shove this in here. So, and just add that missing source back in. So basically, what this does is, instead of corrupting through an emulator, essentially you get to choose a program. So here I just have to select Half-Life. Actually, the easier way, I can just do use AutoHook and put in hl2.exe. And now what this is going to do is it is going to basically connect to the game and, well, attempt to connect to the game. Is HL2 capitalized? No, it's not. Come on. Come on. There it is. All right. So now the UI should pop back up in a moment. Cool. I'm going to swap to... Why is part of my layout missing? All right, so the glitch harvester doesn't matter here, so let's swap to mini. And I guess add window capture again. So what process stub looks like doesn't really matter, so I'm going to leave that off the screen. I'm going to cover up the stuff we don't care about right now. Cool, I muted my mic. How did I mute? I don't even know how I muted my mic. All right. Yes. Don't corrupt online games in general, really. So what's here doesn't really matter. But this is the reason why they can't be shared. All this stuff is not the easiest to replicate because all these things aren't going to be in the same place next time I launch the game. So I have a list of things that are very good to target for Source Engine. So VFizz, I'm going to target a few of the game, basically a few of the parts of the game loaded up into memory. And I'm going to refresh my domain, so I'm basically turning on a filter at the moment. Oh, not Steam Client. Why is Steam Client on there? Go away, Steam Client. Oh, that's why. Am I dumb? Did I do something wrong? Oh, capitalization matters, right. I did do something wrong. See, this is part of the reason I don't even tell Vinny to do these live. There's just annoying to deal with. Come on. All right, I'll just deselect the things I don't care about. Give me a sec. So... all right, I'm going to deselect the things I don't care about and select the things I do care about. So, specifically, I want client. I want studio render. And I want VPhysics. Oh, it's VPhysics, not VFizz. And let's add material system on. So I'm going to swap to the vector engine quickly and start with a very simple list of 1, 2, and maybe an intensity of like 100,000. So the reason for this is hotkey. Why is this hotkey missing? All right, there we go. So the reason for this is because PC games are... I can pull that off. PC games are a lot more complicated than your console game, your emulated old systems. Like, even though we have access to things like 3DS now, as of recently, as you probably saw during the charity stream, there's still... Whoop, did I get a crash? So yeah, so this is the issue with PC game corruptions. They are not really the most stable thing in the world. There's something we can do. They are something we can do, though. So let me just restart this and only target VFizz, because that should... I have to kill the process because it's so frozen that it won't go away. So if I start with just VFizz, that should give us some better results. So actually, I've been trying to work on... Oh yeah, that's one of the big things with PC games is you don't have save states. I've been trying to work on a few different things to essentially make... Oh, I spelled physics wrong. That would do it. There it is. Okay. So... cool. Let us get rid of that ear-piercing volume. Right now, I'm essentially just attempting to corrupt the physics engine. My hotkey. I swapped versions. No, my hotkey is back. Oh. Okay, there we go. Alright. Oh. So, there's your classic... There were your classic source engine physics for a moment. But, again... this is what happens. Alright, and luckily, like, with a game like Half-Life, where you can quickly reboot the game and straight into a map, you can get some decent results. So, let's go through the map a bit. Ooh, that frame rate. I cannot pick up the explosive barrel with the gravity gun. Goodbye. Alright, and I'm stuck. SV cheats 1, bind v node port. This is not Half-Life 2 on PS2. This is the PC version. So, that's the thing. I've been working on PC stuff. I have a few things, like, for the more technical people. I'm currently working on, well, I've been currently as in, like, I've done it. I've attempted it and failed at it multiple times, digging out the heaps and the stacks of the individual threads, so you had more detailed information on what is what, rather than just files mapped to memory and other such stuff. Oof. Yeah, so physics, whatever it changed... Yeah. Do you guys have audio delay? No? I don't see audio delay, I just... Sorry about the echo. There's... Really? There's... give me a minute. Oh, okay, so it's just Half-Life being stupid. I didn't desync the desktop audio, right? Advanced audio properties. Nope, everything's synced. So... Alright, so it's not that. So, yeah. So what I can do is reboot the crashed game. That is really odd. Desktop audio should not be delayed. OBS says desktop audio is not delayed. There's a 0 millisecond delay on everything. I am looking at the stream and it seems fine. So maybe refresh. Because when I look at the stream, it's synced. Anyway. So right there I was just targeting the... I'm looking at the stream right now. I'm looking at the stream right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Now I see the delay. What the hell? That is really odd. Where did that come from? There is a 0 millisecond sync offset. That's a new one. You said this was happening with Mario 64 as well? I don't know. I guess I'll swap off of Half-Life 2 then if Half-Life 2's being weird. We could try Portal. Portal generally. Let's see if another Source Engine game. I forgot windowed again. There's that source engine sound you know so much. Alright. So,
The experiment is...
let's turn the volume down a bit. 5. And let's make sure the limiter is on because source can get very loud when it wants to.
nearing its conclusion.
Alright, so
The enrichment.
this might actually be too quiet. This might actually be too quiet. This might actually be too... Okay, see if this is better. Yes, there is a person walking by, dog. Alright, anyway, tell me if the game is too quiet. I'm just gonna go on. Alright, so back to this. So, right now I'm still just targeting the physics, but Portal is a physics-based game. So, when you do that... When you do that, you get some weird... stuff. Lily? Yes, she is outside. There is someone outside. So... as you can see, this isn't working. Hello, people are allowed to walk by. Are allowed to walk by the house and have to bark at them while staring out my window. Yes. So you can get a lot of weird stuff on PC games. It's definitely not as good as console, mainly because it's just nice. Yeah, and there goes the game. So that's the thing about PC corruptions is they're cool, but they take a while and crash shared. Sorry. Come on. Come in or out. I am animal. Moment. That's what it comes down to with PC corruptions. They are hit or miss. I mean, I would love if anyone has any ideas. Yeah, if anyone has any ideas on what I could do on a technical level to maybe improve this, I am open to suggestions, but come on, Source. It doesn't say... What's the... I forget the save config command. I thought it auto-saved config.
Nearing its conclusion. The enrichment center is required to remind you.
Again, PC corruptions are very here and there. Let me pull up Shovel Knight quickly, because Shovel Knight actually does work pretty well. It's not just emulator's dedication to stability, it is also save states help a lot because you can quickly get back to where you were, whereas with a... Yes, I know you can't find my Steam save, that was the purpose. I'm just gonna cover the right side of the screen for now because we don't care about that. So, Shovel Knight's an interesting one because no, I don't want to make a new game. My keys are not bound properly. I guess I just chose Shovel Knight King of Cards spoilers, I guess, because I chose Tower of Fate by accident. But, so here's the thing. The Shovel Knight engine is actually not a 2D engine. It is a 3D engine, which means we can use some of the tricks that we use for 3D games on it, and it actually works out pretty well. me attach to Shovel Knight. And configure a few things quickly. So target. So you just see there's a ton of crap. All of that unknown stuff, that's all the heat stack. Lots of stuff that I would like to corrupt, but I don't know what's in it. So if I just do filter it down to the executable itself and how that is mapped in memory, you can still actually get surprisingly decent results. And now that this is configured, well, as you can see, you can... Come on. Luckily, I have an uncorrupt feature that kind of works. And there we go. I would love for these to be in a state where they were better for sharing and you weren't just doing it live because you had to. But sadly, that's just not how computers work, unless we were to come up with a... Really? We had ideas for a virtual machine method of doing it, but GPUs and virtual machines are still not... Enjoy your waffles. Still not the most accessible thing in the world. Well... So, no, you can't just save the game's RAM into a file and use it as a save state, because there's a lot more than... Well, I guess I'm soft-locked. Can I remember the menu well enough to get out of the level? Nope, that quits the game. So yeah, you can't just save the RAM because of the way Windows processes work. There's a lot more to a program than just the RAM. There's the... To get technical, there's all of the CPU states, the state all the threads are in, etc. There's a lot in there that makes it not viable. If Spectre probably will. So they actually tried... The tasking community has been trying to figure out ways to task PC games for years. And this actually, people keep walking by outside, and the dogs do not like that. So, the tasking community years and years ago, built a program named Hourglass. What Hourglass was, is it was a way to attempt to make save states on... Whoa. Make save states on Windows. But Hourglass only kind of worked because there's a lot of jank in Windows that got in the way. And what they wanted to do was... It kind of worked, but it wasn't great. So what has happened recently over the past year is a very talented... Well, I think it's one main programmer, actually. A very talented programmer, and then some other people... Uh-oh. I just soft-locked myself. Damn it. Have been working on LinTask, which is a Linux suite of tools to task PC games. Now, the game has to be supported on Linux. There is currently very limited Wine support, but they are working towards it. And that's actually... Everyone is gone. Oh no. Can I even play a... So yeah, if you're into tasking, you may have seen some PC tasks show up somewhat recently. Is the audio still delayed? Why would it be delayed? That is so odd. I'm just using desktop audio capture in OBS. Let me restart the audio capture for a second. Let me shut Alright, I just turned desktop audio off and then back on, so tell me if it's any better. Yeah, so in the end, PC stuff, it's pretty cool, but it's still kind of limited because, again, we're limited by... Let me know if this is still bad. Is this any better? I mean, I could negative delay here. I'll just negative delay the audio source and hope that fixes it. Good. Oh no. I actually cannot beat this. He does not fit in the hole. I am soft locked. Good game. He doesn't fit. Oh, that's a good menu as well. So, let's see what happens if I go to a different level. If I could menu. Oh, cool, it crashes the game. So, in terms of PC stuff, I mean, it's the same as console games. You get... Whoa, okay. I guess it's Showdown because I selected the wrong item in the list, but Showdown's fun. Come on, again, I'm on keyboard because I didn't want to... I did not want to have to deal with swapping back and forth. So, in terms of re-rolling in the stubs, you can, but I would not suggest it with with process stub you can, but I would not suggest it. And again, I have no input. Okay, this sucks. This is disappointing. Come on, am I gonna get any? Hooked up, right? Oh, there it goes. Alright, well, I just screwed up and applied 8 corruptions at once instead of 1, so I'm gonna end that. You guys, that's kind of the taste of what you can do with PC corruptions. Again, it's somewhat limited in scope, but it's something I would like to expand upon, and if we ever are able to get it to a state where it can be shared with Vinny and put on stream, it's definitely gonna happen. Double check something quickly. Alright, so I have an hour left. What my thoughts was I was going to try and show off the RTC, show off kind of the stuff you can't see as much, like the PC corruptions, and then pretty much just toss it to you guys and hear what you want, and then just do some live corruption. So, yeah, exactly. That's not happening. I would have to go through mountains of complications to get him to do it, Mega Bobster. So, I'm up for anything. I've pretty much gotten through showing off... Yes, we're walking by with a dog. Showing off the things that I intended to show off of the different things that... Yeah, I could do 3DS. We haven't really showed that off much. Which one? That one? The one that's barking is Lily. So, yeah, my 3DS selection that I have dumped is somewhat limited, but we can do that. So, 3DS, let's see. I don't want a straw poll. Let's start with one I know works. So I do not have Dragon Quest VII. I only have what I've dumped from my 3DS. Add. Well, I think you can guess the game. Let's do some stuff you guys don't get to see as often, like this. So I'm just gonna go in and do some corruptions. I mean, if there is any specific requests of things, I'm up for it. But I kind of showed off most of... No? Oh, yes, this is my village, actually, isn't it? Oh no, Rossetti's gonna be at the door, isn't he? Because... Alright, yes, it has been forever, Isabel. Yes, the Dream Suite, last time I checked, said a whole one person has dreamed about Detroit. What is my villager wearing? Okay, so if I walk down, Rossetti's going to be here. How bad's the delay? Because I can resync the audio source a bit. Oh, cool. Oh yeah, the time in my game is completely wrong, by the way. No, I cannot access Dreamtown. Even if I could, I wouldn't. Okay, yep, there he is. Is this any better? Because I just... yeah, the audio is itchy. That's different. Okay, give me 1 minute. Hey. No. Hey, let's focus on playing video games. So yeah, I do have my own Twitch channel. It's, Nightbot keeps saying it. I don't really stream. This is the first time I've actually gone live in years. But, sorry. Like, I'm getting poked. Alright. Let's smash through Rossetti and let's make a few states. Alright, so you can see my incomplete town because I lost a bunch of progress because my SD card died. But this is actually my town. I don't know what my villager is wearing, and I don't know who moved out and who moved in. Oh god, this is a mess. Okay. So let's just do some stuff. Where's the tree? Where's the tree? I didn't even hit corrupt yet. Alright, let's go to the town and make a state. Where'd all my trees go? That is a very good question. Where are my trees? I must have modified the save or something. Alright, so let's make some states. Let's see what we can get. Go arm. Let's see if we can get anything decent. Besides crashes. I do have a bad town. I never completed my town. Really, nothing. Can't be the correct list. Getting... No way. I'm getting 0. I'm on... Yeah, here, let me tweak the layout a bit. Second. Maybe New Leaf wasn't the best game to pick. I feel like probably could have gone with something a bit faster. Really? Is it that big? Sorry, I'm going off the people who've actually been actively corrupting in chat. Because I honestly haven't made that much myself recently. My last stockpile was a long time ago. This isn't going well. Maybe we should try a different game. Because New Leaf is not playing nice. Actually, let's just go back to the standard method first. Yeah, I shouldn't be getting these crashes with extended, though. Still. Something's going weird. And this is why every time someone asks Vanity Corruption live, he says no. Because, oh, there we go. Nope. Okay, does the game need... When you guys say louder, is it too loud or is it... I'm trying to tweak volume levels, but... Come on. Okay, yeah. This is not... Yeah, I know it does, but... Okay, I see what's happening. It's Windows being stupid. There we go. That should not be an issue now. No, I know that. It's just... Never mind. Okay, apparently it wants to keep going back to 100% volume every time it's rebooted. So, let's fix that. Can I even get anything out of this game, or is it just going to keep being nothing? Come on. Oh, good crop. Thanks, game. Or thanks, me. Yeah, let's not dig bees. Probably turn that source off now. Okay, well, I just lost all input. And that Let's swap games to something a bit higher paced, because this just isn't doing it for me.
Mario Kart 7!
Nope, not 50cc. Oh, I actually agree, Luigi Guy. I do not think Mario Kart 7 is a good Mario Kart. And that is an opinion I have gotten attacked for before.
Okay.
Let's make a few save states quickly. Try and get this to a state where it'll be more interesting. I do not have a save file on here. Alright. And this is... So start with the basics and see if we can get anything. Bit of model corruption. Oh god, there it is. What was Chris saying? Let me pull up those settings Chris was saying, because he's been doing map. No, okay. So nerd. One moment, let's change the settings around. See if we can get some good actual gameplay corruptions here, because yeah, cool gameplay corruption. The game is gone. Woo. Again, this is why live corruptions are somewhat hit or miss. No, you're not gonna recapture either? No, there it goes. Of course, as I add a new source, Chris, these settings are right? I am getting nothing here with these settings. Yeah, I guess I could profile. All right, so here's another tool. Back to the thing. That was not the correct button. All right, I haven't really been doing 3DS corruptions, as you can tell. I haven't. So let's pull that back up. Cap. Here, let me try one more thing quickly, guys, before I swap. So before I pool, because I really... Yeah, I was trying to uncheck the kill switch, and I... Okay, there we go. I'm a big fan of the top screen. Hello. Same exact corrupt. Uh-oh. Louder. And that, oh my gosh, okay. You guys, I'm gonna show you something quickly. Where'd Sheriff go? Where'd OBS go? Okay, so this is the volume limiter, because Vinny's never shown it on screen, on stream. These red lines up top, let's pause that. Those red lines up top, that's where the volume is at. That white line, that is where if it goes above, it'll lower it. That pink line is where it will lower it too. So that red is the actual volume level that's being output, and that pink is what we are hearing. So if I uncheck this enabled box, it would go all the way up there. Let's not do that. In fact, let's duck this a little bit more because, geez, it is literally off the chart at the moment, actually. My graph only goes up to 120%. I am not unleashing the limiter. This is actually... What is even happening? What is even happening? What is... Save. Yeah, that's the thing. In programming, it's pretty general. A rule of thumb is that you're not going to break the hardware unless it's speakers, and then if it's speakers, be very careful. So, genuinely, some of these corruptions, I think... Whew, yes, this is why we don't turn the volume off, the limiter off. So, in terms of how loud things get, 3DS wins the loudness competition. So I thought GameCube and Wii were loud, but no, they are no. They are nowhere near what the 3DS does in terms of horrific noises that destroy your ears. Oh, that's not fair. Huh? I'm still pressing A, chat. I didn't stop pressing A. I have now let go of A. There. Cool game. This is just insanity. So I'm gonna get one final thing going in the background. Because... No, you're just gonna keep crashing? And there it goes. Okay. So... Again, by the way, it is September, and any subs do go to the Variety's Hope channel, and Variety's Hope is a charity, to help them keep doing what they're doing. Because lawyers are not free, and being a charity means that is loud. They have to pay for things like overhead. So subs are discounted. There's also Prime Gaming, don't forget about that. Just wanted to bring that up. And again, there's a lot more I could show off if I do this again, and I could... Prime Gaming is Twitch Prime. They renamed it. And yeah, thanks. Lemon, I feel like I'm supposed to say yes, but I don't think that's a... I'm not sure if that's fair. Uh-oh. And there it goes. Like, I'm not joking when I say I almost blew out my speakers with this. That's the issue. Thank you for the subs. But again, I don't want to blow out people's speakers. I genuinely don't want to hurt people. Because... So Wii U, I could actually show off. So we actually do have some stuff. So since I'm approaching 40 minutes, I'll show you guys some of the other edge case stuff you don't see very much. And again, if I was trying to come into this prepared. I was clearly not as prepared as I thought I was. But I will show you some other stuff that don't normally get to see, including something very special. Give me 1 minute. Get the correct thing open. Hopefully I have the files where they are supposed to be. And I can remember which one is the correct one. Alright, so this is something that is not coming to a stream near you anytime soon for a variety of reasons. But I'll give you a little peek here into something that may be coming to a stream near you eventually, TM. So I am swapping over quickly. Let us see. I just probably did not turn the intensity anywhere near high enough. But what the fuck happened? Stop. No. Why? What the hell was that? Fuck. I did not fix the limiter. Okay, you got your... I guess you got your lack of limiter. And the game crashed. Game did not crash. It's just, I don't have shaders built. Here, let me build shaders for a moment so this goes a bit smoother. Oh, am I on Vulkan and not OpenGL? Is that why? No, I'm on OGL. Alright, so let me just load into the tutorial quickly, so next time I launch this, it doesn't do terrible louder. And honestly, I'm just going to cover most of the screen at this point because we don't really need to see all that other stuff. So I'll just full screen this source and pull it down. Because I'm not really showing off the tools at this point, I'm just... Alright, so... Clearly nothing here is corrupted besides the extremely loud, so do this tutorial quickly so I can get into an actual match. So this is part of the reason these are not coming to a stream near you. As you can tell, there's a bit of a performance issue. Now, there are some things you can do to offset the performance issues, but like having shaders ahead of time. Oh yeah, I get frame perfect movements. So, in terms of Switch games, ARMS works pretty well, Odyssey works pretty well. But again, you can see I'm having just a tad in terms of even getting this set up, because we're getting about 2 frames. I don't have a button down to left stick. I can't even pass this. One moment. See, this is part of why I don't stream. Only part of it, but... Oh no, that's not the stream lagging. That's the game. Alright. I don't have... System controls. Do I have this button bound? Alright. So hopefully... Okay, well... I am holding the button, but it appears my corruption has broken it. Come on, I want to just show them the funny, and now I'm stuck playing the game at 5 FPS. Okay. I think I can quit out from here and have a save file made. I cannot quit out from here. I have to beat them. Okay, well... Yeah, so... Yeah, most of this is shader generation. If you have used a magical tool like this before, you know what is going on. So I'm actually going to swap away from ARMS because it has too much of an intro to get to anything, and just go to the classic. So I do need to build a few shaders for this quickly. Or else. Come on. Come on. No, this is... What the hell? I didn't even corrupt the audio. Why is it so bad? Did they break? Did they break something? Okay, yeah, this part was unplanned. I was like, oh, I might as well show it off, but clearly, no, it's not OBS. Oh, I didn't recapture. I'm a dummy. Okay. I should not have gone into this part without shaders made ahead of time. That was on me. Anything I can... This was my mistake. So, I can at least explain what's going on here. What's basically happening is the Switch has... What the shaders are is the GPU in your computer and the GPU in your... That was a weird bug. Your Switch work very differently, so... Sorry, I was just noticing some weird corruption in the intro. I haven't even corrupted it yet. That is a good frame. Can someone get me that frame? I would appreciate that frame. So anyway, what it has to basically do is it has to convert what the Switch is outputting to something that your GPU can output, but that requires a lot of compute time to get done. As such, you will you have to build shaders for the game, and once you have a shader cache built up, it works, but I do not have any form of shader cache built up. So luckily, once this cutscene is over, and once I drop into the hat Phonoton, I think it was called, it's been a while since I've played the game, it pretty much builds pretty much all the shaders I need in the area right away. So that will pretty much cover that. There we go. There's the image I was looking for. Thank you. That is a good frame. Look at that while the game... Not entirely sure why the game is rendering in low res. I do not want to fight with settings right now because I am starting to run short on time because I am done at 5 East. Well, I'm done in 25 minutes, and then Zenny will be after. I think it was... I should have probably checked the calendar. I'm 99% sure it's Zenny, and I'm 1% sure I'm wrong. Will be streaming after me. Wind Waker or something. I'm not sure. I should have this calendar on hand. An hour after me, okay. Yep, Wind Waker randomized. No, that's the wrong day of the calendar. I cannot... Okay, no, it is Wind Waker randomized. Okay, that's what I thought. Alright, now I just run around for 5 seconds and... Alright, we should be good. So now, what I can do is this. I can stop the game. And I can actually hit the funny corrupt button. Now I am... No, not ARMS. Mario Odyssey. That is the wrong game. And again, this is something I'd like to get on... Excuse me. I would like to get on stream at some point, but again, if you guys remember, not the charity stream last year, but the charity stream 2 years ago now. Wow. Or, sorry, not the charity stream this year, the charity stream last year. We had some Wii U stuff, and there's been nothing since then because of load time. It is not fun to wait 45 minutes for the game to reboot. Didn't see anything. Yeah. Here, there's my offline screen now. Oh, I lost the logos. 1 second. I was supposed to. There we go. All right. And now we hope for something to happen. And I guess in the background, I could just put on the low levels since I don't expect. Super Mario! No, Mario, where are you? Actually, click. Wow, it's nothing. I am absolutely shocked that there is nothing here. All right. This part was all unplanned. I kind of just realized that what I thought would take 3 hours took 2 hours. Um, so PSP hasn't happened mainly because the only main PSP emulator does not have save states. Again, for a lot of stuff, the blocking factor is the lack of save states. Does PSPPP have save states? I could have sworn it didn't. Apparently it does. Oh, yeah, it's not open source. That was the issue. Super Mario Odyssey! Why is it that the one time I try and demonstrate this, I get absolutely nothing? Normally this game runs perfect for me as well, so I'm wondering if I screwed something up in my settings. Because this is not corrupting. Which is a massive shame, because honestly, a lot of fun when it works. But wondering if something went wrong at some point in the process. Is it? Okay, so I will say it here. I will take a look at PPPPS. Actually, I think part of it was just there were no games worth it on the PSP. But I will take a look because I completely forgot about that. Yes, Crisis Core, one game. Super Mario! I broke something. There's no way. Something changed. Okay, well, again, this is a shame that this is going so poorly. This is what I get for just going in blind. I must have installed an update to the game or something, which is breaking it. Or Nintendo got to my computer, it could be that. Because I just have the settings so high that it should be completely destroyed right now. Well, this is a massive shame. They must change something in on my Switch that stopped this from working. I have one other game dumped that I can try. Because now I'm just sad that this isn't working. A game I know for a fact has worked in the past. No, it's not CPU chugging. It's Mario. I'm loading the game. All right. One more try. I may have it this time. Think I see what happened. Anyways, if you want to download the Corruptor, because I'm going to shill for myself for a minute, redscientist.com/RTC. We also have a Discord where we will help you if you have issues. You can report bugs to me. I can not fix the bugs and then until I run into them on my own because yeah. This has fizzled out sadly because I screwed up, but maybe we can get a few in before the end. Come on. Come on. Has to work. I have done this game multiple times and it's worked perfectly. Well, my Switch crashed, so it definitely happened. I don't know why Odyssey didn't work. But cool. That's not Sword and Shield, that's the other one. The one people like even less than Sword and Shield. Let's see if we can get anything. TV, where are you? Something definitely happened. Oh god. There it is. There it is. Finally. Finally. As for myself, I cannot do an oak voice. No. Alright, my salad fingers. Salad fingers. Salad fingers. Ooh, curly fingers. Rusty spoon. Been so long since I've seen that video. This boy is my rival. What's his name? Bad. That is your name now. Why did the lighting just change? Oh. Evie, don't jump into the light. That is disgusting. Jesus. Alright. Where's the save button? Nope, not Pokemon Go. I can't play Pokemon Go. Nope, come on. Do I go outside or do I roll for another? I'll go outside. What's going on? You've got one weird look on your face. Go check this. Check the starter. Ah, wait, you don't get to even see the starters in this one, do you? That's a shame. No, they're all... Actually, yes. Oh wait, Chris, screw up. Technology is amazing. How do they fly? How do they fly? Bad. Grabby hands. No, don't. Yes. Great. See what the rest of this cutscene plays out as, and then I'll roll another before my time is up. Uh-oh. That... Fuck off! Fuck. It's gone! I don't think... Why don't you pick up that Pokeball and give the Eevee you caught a name? Okay. This is honest. I'm surprised this hasn't crashed. Oh no. Oh god, all the starters are gone. They've escaped. Cutscene work, or is this cutscene FMV? Nah. Nah, no, no, you're not my Pokemon. Sorry, Eevee. But I have to delete you. See if I can roll one more. Or my time is up. They have been released into my stockpile. And here we go. Let's see if we get something. Why is it the same exact corruption? Why is it the same exact corruption? No, no, no. One second. This is suspicious. I know what happened. Oh. Alright, 1 second. Quickly, quickly. SNSO tool. Main 2. Oh. Main C. Quickly. Select the file. Alright. Give me a different result this time. I regenerated you from scratch. There is no way there's a leftover. Unless Eevee's stalking me. And this is... yeah, unless this is part of the TV creepypasta. It's not baked into the executable. That's... I'm wondering if that is what it is, which is why I just regen from scratch. But... well... maybe that's it, because... it might be over. Cool. Yeah, again, I wanted to show off some of the stuff that doesn't make it on stream because it's on Vinny's stream because it's just not stable enough. If you're doing it with 10,000 people watching, people don't want to deal with this, and I know what troubleshooting steps to do. He does not. So imagine him trying to deal with some of these issues. Because... oh, it didn't crash this time. Eevee's back to normal. This is surprisingly normal. Did it just... That's a shame. I have 3 minutes. Come on, give us one more. One more. You can do it. You can do it. Hello, dog. Yes, I have my door closed. I think it's dead. I think file stub is just broken and beyond belief, and... Okay, I have 2 minutes. I have one other way of doing this. Where is it? Give me 1 second. I have one more idea. Come on. Gotta get at least one. At least one more. Yeah, we have to keep with the schedule. Honestly, if this doesn't work, I think, sadly, that's just it, because at this point, I'm just bashing my head against the wall, which is, again, part of why we generally don't do them live. Something has to be locking the file. There's no other answer to this. I'm getting... I literally just blasted it 10 million times and nothing is happening. So there is something has changed with the Switch stuff since last time I did it. That's a shame. It seems like it works the first time I load the game and then it stops working, so I wonder if they modified things. Anyways, pretend... No, that's not the correct source. Pretend that says not starting soon, and, here. You won't even be able to tell that it doesn't say starting soon. 1 second. I only made one graphic. Here we go. There. Alright, so that's that. That's a shame that it kind of ended on a fizzle, but that's the way things are with corruptions, honestly. Yeah, newer consoles are fun, but they're limited. Anyway, in about an hour, actually in exactly an hour, Zenny will be going live doing Wind Waker Randomizer. And yep, the schedule is in chat. And there is some other streams. I mean, you guys seem to enjoy this. I was told that there's a chance I could do, if people liked it, there was a chance I could do it again, so I'm not going to keep going on my channel at this point because I don't want to take away from Zenny, and clearly something's changed and I'm going to have to go in to do a technical look into why it's not loading the corrupted game. My theory is that it's caching the existing file once I load it once. But again, that's not fun to watch me just bash my head against a computer for hours debugging stuff. So that was it. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed. And again, if anyone is up to make corruptions, we are a very welcoming community. There are plenty of people willing to help you make corruptions. There is a link to the RTC Discord on our website, and that's about it. So I do not have music playing. I was supposed to come back. Funny clown music. Clown music isn't playing. Anyways, I need to wrap up, so that's about it for me. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. So this has been about the past hour, but yeah. And next time, now that I've done a basic overview, if I do it again, I could probably show you guys some of the other stuff and kind of just make some corruptions live. Overall, glad you guys enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, check the schedule. Remember to watch the streams, watch everyone else's stuff. And that is about it from me. So I guess that I should be signing off about now. So how am I supposed to end this? I don't have any funny meme to put on stream. Shoot. Here. Have Mario. Oh, yeah, I do have funny image. Wait, where'd funny image go? Funny image is gone. I have lost funny Mario. This is an absolute there we go. Alright, bye guys, thanks.